There was an article in the New York Times talking about the Libs diagnosing the problem that they have correctly. Now, there's good news and bad news. The bad news is they might have figured out why it is that they've lost, or at least a part of the reason why they lost. The good news is I don't think they understand it exactly. And that's when it comes to podcasting. Now, you've heard so many times from the lefty media, we need to find the liberal Joe Rogan. We need to find the liberal Theo Von or the liberal Charlie Kirk. And that actually is a big thing that they need to figure out. Over the weekend, or I guess over the last couple months, private gatherings, this is from the New York Times, of strategists and donors are swapping ideas to help the party capitalize the digital mojo that helped President Trump win. And yes, there is a price tag, says the New York Times. Now, they are diagnosing the problem correctly. The good news is I think they misunderstand it. The article goes on to talk about the various people involved, the various political PACs that are going to try and raise money and effectively buy their way into the podcasting space. Unfortunately for them, that's not how it works. Joe Rogan didn't pop out of nowhere. Charlie Kirk didn't pop out of nowhere. It may seem like that to some libs. If you're looking through TikTok and you see Charlie Kirk reels going constantly, yeah, that may be a new thing, but the guy's been at it for, almost 15 years. Joe Rogan, the same way. He's been at it for almost 20 years in the podcast game. Just because libs have money doesn't mean they can effectively buy the influence that they think they can get in the podcasting world. And even on top of that, here's the big problem that they have. The reason Charlie Kirk is popular, the reason Joe Rogan is popular, Theo Von is popular, is because they aren't lying to people. Now, you may disagree with some things that Joe Rogan says, some things that Theo Von says, some things that Andrew Scholes or any other big podcasters say, but at the very least, they're not lying to you. And unfortunately for libs, and fortunately for us, the misdiagnosis of the podcast world includes the fact that, well, they have to lie in order to get their policies through because their policies aren't effective and they don't work. So the bad news is, yes, they have figured out that that is a weak point in their strategy as libs trying to move forward and win elections. The good news is I don't think they understand how difficult it is building something from the ground up that is authentic and true and genuine, like so many people on the conservative side of the aisle have done, and hopefully will just crash and burn in flames and also waste a lot of lib money. Here to comment on that and so much more is Turning Point contributor Anthony Watson, and we're putting a name to the face, Glenn Hendrickson, producer Glenn, who you've probably heard us talk about. He reads every single one of your emails, every single line, every single word, tpt@tpusa.com. Here he is, Glenn, put a name to a face. Guys, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you.
Great to be here.
Anthony, I want to start with you here. This is... again, something that people have been pointing out on both sides of the aisles is liberals just don't have the long-form podcasting world. Gavin Newsom has ventured into it, among several other people that are trying to take a stab at, again, becoming the next conservative liberal Joe Rogan. Do you think they're going to make any headway here, especially the way they're going about it, which is effectively throwing money at the problem and saying, well, yeah, we can buy influence. That's how it works.
Well, it's a short-term goal for something that literally never works out for anybody in the end who tries to do it that way. You can only throw money at something for so long because the people who have done that always find it running out, which is then when they go on their victimization campaigns to now try to guilt trip other people to supporting something that inevitably was started to fail in the first place. Now, you look at something as equal as podcasting. There are podcasts galore these days. So many people have them on YouTube. So many people have them on Spotify, Apple Music, all of these other streaming platforms that a lot of us don't even know of. Twitch, all of these places where everyone is speaking for an opinion. What actually makes people actually have a successful podcast is the work that they put in on themselves and the work that they've done in it to actually have something to talk about. But everyone that you're starting to see now trying to get influence in the space is doing it for every reason that the mainstream media is doing it. And with the mainstream media numbers tanking, it's no wonder that liberal podcasts now are not really in the same airwave anymore.
Yeah, it's also fascinating, too, how, again, they think that we just throw money at this. What I think they're going to do is probably overpay a bunch of people who aren't going to make really much of a dent because, in fact, they have to lie to people in order to get their policies and stuff through. Glenn, do you see this catching on? Do you think that this is going to be, look, we're trying to build an audience here. How difficult is it actually? And do you think that libs can just throw money at it and hope it works?
I wish them the best of luck, Joe Bob. They should absolutely try this. They should articulate. They should be forced to articulate their ideas
Mm.
about the way the world should be. And I think that would only play better for us. The more that we can get them onto neutral ground and have genuine dialogue with them about the ideas, their economic policy, their foreign policy, whether boys are boys and girls are girls, you name it. And there's going to be 10 conservatives ready to line up and be a guest on that podcast. And throwing money at it, I mean, yeah, this is what they chronically do. They see a problem or they'll invent a problem. And then the first solution is always throw money at it. And I mean, if that worked, Snow White would be the biggest movie of the year. Am I right? That's
Yeah.
simply not the case. Conservatives were kicked out effectively of mainstream media over the last few decades, and we were forced to find alternative ways to get out there. And that was right around the time podcasts were coming out. The internet was getting bigger and bigger, and platforms like this really have been built over years. You can't cook it overnight. You can't microwave what we have going here. I wish them the best, but it'll take a long time to get there.
I think if I can characterize what you're saying is, yeah, you can't buy trust. You can't buy genuineness. You can't buy authenticity. And that's what I think they're going to do. And so, yeah, they did diagnose the problem, it seems, correctly, but their solution to that problem probably won't work. At least I hope it doesn't work, because, well, it's been a pretty nice advantage to have.